Welcome to Dear Fans. Caitlin Clark, the basketball star known for her humility both on and off the court, recently made headlines for an incredible act of kindness during a routine flight. The story that unfolded touched the hearts of passengers and later countless others as it spread, proving once again that small gestures can lead to extraordinary outcomes. It was a busy morning at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Flight 247 to Newark was fully booked, and the cabin buzzed with pre-flight energy. Caitlin, casually dressed in a sweatshirt and sneakers, was seated in first class, quietly reading a book. She was determined to avoid attention despite being a recognizable figure to basketball fans. At the back of the plane, an elderly man, likely in his late 70s, made his way to his economy seat. His military jacket bore faded patches and medals, silently narrating decades of service. The man shuffled his seat near the rear, squeezed between a businessman and a restless toddler. Passengers stole glances at the veteran, some admiring his quiet dignity. Soon after takeoff, preparations began. Tension arose. The businessman seated next to the veteran seemed upset, complaining about the lack of space. Despite the veteran's repeated apologies, the commotion escalated, drawing attention. Caitlin, seated in first class, noticed the scene. Observing for a moment, she pressed the call button and spoke to a flight attendant, her voice calm but firm. "Could I switch seats with a gentleman in the military jacket?" The attendant, momentarily stunned, agreed to check. Caitlin stood, gathering her belongings, ready to move to the back of the plane. A fellow first-class passenger leaned over and whispered, "You don't have to do this. You paid for this seat." Caitlin simply smiled and replied, "Some people deserve it more." When the flight attendant informed the veteran about the switch, he hesitated, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Are you sure?" he asked. Caitlin extended her hand, replying, "I'm sure. Thank you for your service. Please take my seat." The veteran, visibly touched, thanked her and moved to first-class. Passengers watched in quiet admiration as Caitlin took the cramped economy seat without complaint, resuming her book as if nothing had happened. Meanwhile, in first class, the veteran sat in Caitlin's plush seat, overwhelmed by the gesture. A flight attendant brought him a blanket and a drink, explaining, "The young lady said you should have the seat." The veteran nodded, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's been years since anyone treated me like this." The story took an extraordinary turn. Mid-flight, the veteran began sharing a deeply personal story with a nearby passenger. Decades ago, during the Gulf War, he returned to the U.S. injured and without a home, struggling to rebuild his life. He found himself in Iowa, sitting outside a diner, unsure of his next meal. A kind man approached him, listened to his story, and provided him with food, shelter, and a job. That man, he revealed, was Caitlin Clark's grandfather. Passengers in first class were captivated as the veteran described how Caitlin's grandfather's generosity had changed his life forever. Now, years later, Caitlin's simple act of kindness had brought his story full circle. When a flight attendant shared the veteran's story with Caitlin, she was momentarily stunned. She had no idea about her grandfather's connection to the veteran, but was moved by the legacy of compassion she had unknowingly continued. As the plane descended, the veteran made his way to Caitlin's seat to thank her personally. Taking her hand firmly, he said, "What you did wasn't just about the seat. You reminded me of something I'll never forget. Your family helped me rebuild my life, and today you honored that legacy." Caitlin, visibly touched, replied, "Thank you for your service. I'm glad I could carry that forward." Passengers erupted into applause, a rare moment of unity on a flight. Many stopped to thank Caitlin and the veteran as they disembarked, expressing gratitude for the reminder of how small acts of kindness could ripple outward. Later, Caitlin reflected on the day. In interviews, she emphasized that the true hero of the story was the veteran and the sacrifices he had made. "It wasn't about me," she said. "It was about recognizing someone who gave so much for all of us. If I can use my platform to remind people of the importance of gratitude and empathy, then that's a win." The story of Caitlin's gesture and the veteran past inspired thousands. As it spread, it became a testament to the power of compassion and a reminder that even the smallest decisions can create. Like this video and subscribe this channel. Thank you.